Good morning everyone and welcome to Gamer Crafting Day 23 of Vlogtober. I wanted to show you my nerdy mug. I bought this mug from Asda yesterday when I was there getting groceries. It was £2 and it is super nerdy. It's got like a really sort of like 80s school folder, early 90s like school folder vibe. Like not quite like Lisa Frank, but like, you know, maybe a slightly more mature love of unicorns. So it's definitely nerdy. But I like it because it's extra tall, which you can probably tell. And I have a nice coffee in here with my milk frother. I'm telling you, y'all, milk frothers, they're game changers when it comes to making coffee at home. So I'm going to go drink my coffee and then I'm going to get started on some dyeing. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about art theft. I know it's probably not like the sexiest thing I've ever talked about in a vlog, but it's something I've been thinking about for a while and I have a few thoughts. Now, art theft is something that is like rampant. It happens all the time. I'm sure that's not a surprise to any of you watching this. It's not something that we have been personally impacted by. Well, not yet anyway. It is particularly rampant with clothing manufacturers ripping off artists to put on clothing for like drop shipping businesses. It's also particularly common with enamel pins. Personally, I think that our enamel pins are perhaps a little bit too niche to make it worth it for the scammers and thieves and drop shippers to be ripping off our designs. I do check now and again and I've never seen any. I think that is just because they're like a little bit niche, which is fine with me. I'd rather not have to try and deal with it. Because unfortunately, a lot of the times, these scammers, thieves, drop shippers, etc. are located in other countries, and it makes it like almost impossible to get a cease and desist to have any sort of effect legally. Now, if you're wondering what a drop shipper is basically somebody who sets up a business. They advertise products, and these products, they don't actually have the products in a warehouse where they live. The warehouses are in other countries that are usually far away, where labor standards are perhaps a bit lower and item cost is perhaps a bit lower, manufacturing cost is significantly lower. So basically these people run businesses, and so they'll get an order and the order will get transmitted to wherever this warehouse or manufacturer is, and they will make the thing and ship it direct to the person who ordered it. Now, there's not necessarily anything like inherently wrong with drop shippers. It's not something I would ever personally want to do because I'm a little bit of a control freak and I would want too much control over whatever it was that I was selling, whereas if you're a drop shipper you really don't have that kind of control. A lot of stuff that you see advertised heavily on like Facebook and Instagram, a lot of that stuff is drop shipped, especially when it comes to custom clothing designs. That said, I started getting an ad for, it was basically like sweatpants, so like comfy lounge around pants a couple of months ago, I guess, with this really cool, unique art style, and I was like, oh my god, I low-key love these. And then I clicked on an ad and I looked at it and I was like, this seems like maybe one of those companies that's potentially stealing art from people. I'm not going to order, I'm just going to kind of wait and decide later. And then I started getting ads for the exact same product, but from other companies, which is a bit bizarre if you have any familiarity with the way that Facebook does targeting, which kind of makes me think that maybe a lot of these companies are owned by the same person, but using different companies to make it look maybe more legit, to maybe get into different niches. It's not uncommon with drop shippers. In fact, there's like a whole bunch of companies that sell like very cheaply made clothing. I think like, what is it, like Dress Lily or Rose Gal? They're not companies that I order from because they don't typically make clothes for fat people like me. But basically I'll have to try and see if I can find the article and put it into the description. If it's not there, it's because I couldn't find it. But it's basically that a whole bunch of these companies are all owned by the same person. And there's a variety of different reasons why they do that. So I started thinking, oh, well, that's kind of weird. And pretty much the same day, I got a message from a close friend of mine being like, oh my god, did you see these? They're so cute, but they're definitely ripping off art. And I was like, oh my god, I did see those. And so then we both kind of went on this like dual mission to try and figure out who the artists were through like Google reverse image searches. Like, we're both very good at finding things on the internet. It's like one of my, I don't know if she considers this one of her weird, quirks of personality, but for me, I definitely consider it for me. I'm very good at finding things on the internet. Like, if it exists, I'm gonna find it. Like, so much so that friends will now be like, hey, there's this really super obscure out of print thing that's been out of print for like 15 years. Can you? And I'll be like, found it. It's just one of those, it's just a weird knack. Maybe that's my superpower or my weird magical skills, being able to find things on the internet specifically. Not in my house. Can't find anything. Where are my keys? Dunno. Wallet? Dunno. If I could Google reverse image search where the hell I left my wallet, then I'd probably be in a better position. But anyway, so we sort of started poking around and we found the actual artists and sort of did some poking around on their Instagram profile and found out that they already have partnerships with a bunch of different companies to sell their stuff. So companies like Redbubble and what are some of the ones, like, I don't know, like Cafe Press and Zazzle and this kind of stuff, where artists can upload their art, and then if you like their art, you can order it on a t-shirt and it gets sent to you from Zazzle. So it's like, it's kind of drop shipping-ish, but there's still an artist, there's still a person, who did put a lot of time and effort into creating whatever the thing is, rather than just creating an ad for it and doing lots of A/B split testing to see how well the ad performs to get an ad that's just more and more effective. So after finding the actual artist, I did go ahead and I went to one of their pages and I did go ahead and order some comfy, you might be wondering if that's what's over my shoulder, and you'd be right, to order some comfy lounge around sweatpants. I don't actually have any of those right now because somebody took mine. Spoiler alert, it was my wife. And longtime listeners will know that is not uncommon, but it's fine. Like, I let her do it because it's cute. I love her a lot, so I'll let her steal my pajamas and my hats and stuff. Like, it's fine. Anyway, so I went ahead and I did. She's not stealing these, though. I will tell you that right now. I will fight for these. So these were like quite a bit more expensive than the companies that were, ripping off the art, basically. And I do know for sure that none of these companies that were showing their art have any partnerships with them, because I double and triple checked the list of places that they have partnerships. And these companies, the many companies, there was probably like 12 different companies that I eventually ended up getting ads for the exact same design, in the exact same format. They don't have partnerships with any of those companies. So it is for sure companies ripping off people's art and being assy about it. And you know, sometimes people will say, oh, well, if the artist doesn't have partnerships, then people will definitely do that. And I mean, that's still not right, you know, to be stealing people's art. If they don't want it on a t-shirt, they don't want it on a t-shirt. If they're not offering it, it's probably for a reason. But they do offer it. They have tons of partnerships. Like pretty much anything you could want their art on, you can probably find it within the array of partnerships that they have. Like you want like a cool metal plate of their art to hang on their wall? Great, they offer that. Do you want a mug? Cool, no problem. You know, so there's a lot of different things. So anyway, I got them today. I low-key forgot that I ordered them because I did order them a while ago. And what's this company? Basically, I decided to go through a company that did have the like comfy sort of sweatpants with pockets, because I think Redbubble offers leggings, but A, they're not very size inclusive, and B, they're kind of expensive for leggings, well, for me anyway. And I'm not sure that their leggings would fit me, and I don't know. I've never really found leggings that are like really top notch. You can wear them for years quality. Like, I don't know. There's not, I mean, without spending like 200 pounds, but I wouldn't want to spend 200 pounds because even the times that I've spent more on leggings, it hasn't mattered. They still end up, you know, having a thigh blowout or something. Anyway, my point is, so the company that I ordered from is called Live Heroes or Live Heroes. That's the tag. So this is who I ordered. This is from the artist webpage. The artists, they're called Space Frog Designs. It's like a husband and wife team. They do a lot of art in this style, so if you like it, you know, maybe go check them out, give them a follow on Instagram. They are already aware of this. Like, when I initially found them, I was checking the comments on their posts, and it's basically every post they've had for at least a month. There's somebody in the comments being like, oh my gosh, did y'all know people are stealing tons of your art? And they're like, yeah, we know, unfortunately there's not a lot we can do, you know, we've just got to kind of keep, you know, plugging away. Anyway, so I got these sort of comfy sweatpants, and here's the art style. I don't know how well you can see that. Anyway, so it's a really unique sort of artistic style, sort of like a landscapey thing. I'm really glad that I was able to find the actual artist to make sure that they actually get paid for their work, rather than buying from one of the many companies that are dodgily stealing people's art. And honestly, like those companies that I went and I was looking at, honestly there's so many of them. Like it's not even worth it for me to try and list all of them because there's so many. And if one gets shut down, you know, they've still got a whole bunch more doing the same thing, which is possibly why they have, I think it's probably a smaller number of people, right, that are owning a larger number of these clothing manufacturers. And honestly, some of that clothing is priced so cheaply that I bet the quality is not that great. I know that in the past I've been burned by ordering, you know, maybe something like this, like a hoodie or something that's supposed to be soft and cotton, and you get it and it's like that weird, like, it's not like a neoprene feeling, but you know what I mean? It's got that weird texture when you run your hands over it and it makes like a sound. But these are actually really lovely and soft, so I think that they're definitely going to be worth paying the extra money that I paid. Also, pockets, and they're like deep pockets as well. Like I can fit my whole hand easily in there. It's because they're men's. Because apparently in 2020 we still have to gender pockets. But I am not about to be buying any comfy lounge-around pants that do not have pockets. Or am I supposed to put my phone? Or like, I don't know, whatever else I carry around these, just my phone. Or my Kindle, maybe? I bet a Kindle would fit in here, you know, it's big enough. Anyway, so I just kind of wanted to talk about that, like, just please be careful, especially going into the sort of festive. I realize I'm talking really fast today. I'm feeling a little bit manic. It's been kind of a week. Also, I'm very conscious that we have already ordered sushi, so it's probably going to be arriving like any minute, so I don't want to be out here too long. Anyway, my point is, just be really careful, like going into the holiday season. If you see something and you're like, wow, I love that art, like just, you know, maybe do like a right-click Google image search, you know, if you're on a desktop, and just make sure it's not some poor artist getting like totally ripped off, because I can only imagine how heartbreaking it would be to be an artist who puts your like heart and soul into trying to build up, you know, a community of people who love your art, just to have like some company come in and steal your art because they've got loads of money for Facebook advertising budget, can just, you know, steal a lot of your sales basically. Like, it's crappy. Anyway, I went off on some like wild tangent there about like art theft and stuff that is wildly irrelevant, and I probably shouldn't even be yammering on about it anyway. It'll get me into trouble. Anyway, but this is obviously a very clear-cut and obvious case of art being stolen from an artist, or in this case, an artist team. There are two of them that work on these different designs. It's a very clear, open and shut, definitely stolen art. I am glad that I was able to find the original source, because I wasn't going to buy it from any of these dodgy companies. Because I could, once I got like the fourth different company with the exact same design advertising to me, I was like, this seems dodgy, you know? And especially when it's a very specific art style like this. This isn't just like a t-shirt that says, you know, Santa's elf or something, you know what I mean? It's not a generic thing. It's a very specific art style that kind of makes you think something's not right here. So I would say, you know, just be extra careful going into the holiday season, or I don't know, don't. I'm not the boss of you. I'm just saying, if you're somebody who wants to make sure artists get paid for their work, then definitely, you know, just make sure that it's not being ripped off of somewhere. I know that there's also a lot of small, like, jewelry makers on, you know, Etsy and the like, who have their designs and their ideas ripped off by larger retailers, you know, like, I think Zara's gotten in trouble for it before, Forever 21 has gotten in trouble for it before. I say got in trouble, but it's like they get some negative Instagram comments because they have these massive legal teams. Nothing ever happens, and it's so frustrating. So frustrating. Anyway, like I said, I'm very glad that we have not been, you know, we haven't had any of our enamel pins or designs ripped off, I mean, as far as I know. And I'm very excited to put these on later and feel incredibly snuggly. And yeah, I'm gonna do that after we eat though, because I'm getting spicy mayo with my dinner, with my pumpkin katsu, and I really don't want to risk that. I mean, these will probably get gross eventually, but I'd rather not have that happen on day one of having them in my possession. Anyway, that's it for today. My weird little lecture about art theft. It was just something I've been thinking about for a while, with regards to, especially with, you know, Christmas coming up, and I know not everybody who watches this celebrates Christmas, and I totally understand that. But a lot of people do, obviously, and so I don't know, if you care about artists being ripped off, then maybe just be a little bit extra careful this year, especially when you're getting advertised stuff on like Facebook and Instagram. Just, you know, make 100% sure if that's important to you. Again, I'm not the boss of you. It's important to me. It's important to Sarah, my wife. Yeah, anyway, oh, by the way, the apple cider was not ready yet. I got to the next step in the recipe, which says to like crush the apples, and like got hot apple juice all over my arms and some up the window, so I figured maybe they need to be a little bit softer. Anyway, I will see you all tomorrow.